Hey guys, what's up? It's Kevin for the win. We're back for another edition of Diablo 3. Today on the channel, we are taking a look at the Roland's Legacy set armor for the Crusader class. Not really great armor, but let's get right into it. Roland's Legacy. Every use of shield bash and sweep attack reduces the cooldown of your laws and defensive skills by 1 second. 4-piece bonus increase the damage of shield bash and sweep attack by 17,500%. 6-piece bonus, every use of shield bash or sweep attack that hits an enemy grants 75% increased attack stat. So we're mostly going to be using a full set of Roland's Legacy here. As you can see as well, we are using Captain Crimson because Captain Crimson does in fact go with just about everything. So Captain Crimson, 6,000 life per second, reduces cooldown of all skills by 20%, reduces all resource costs by 20%. 3-piece bonus, damage dealt is increased by your percentage of cooldown reduction, and damage is reduced by the amount of resource cost reduction. As you can see, we're using Strong Arm Bracers, Shield of Steed, as well as the weapon, Obsidian Ring of the Zodiac, Ring of Royal Grandeur as well. For the skills, Sweep Attack, Blazing Sweep. This is the only real damaging ability we're going to be using. Laws of Valor, Iron Skin Flash, Akarat's Champion Prophet, Condemn, Vacuum. Also, we're going to be using Steed Charge, Withdraw, and Quarter. For the passives, Heavenly Strength, Indestructible, Long Arm of the Law, and last but not least, Binary. For the Kanai's Cube, Golden Fleece, Aquila, Kuras, and Conventional Elements for Ring. You can also use a Ring of Royal Grandeur if you're in place of that. Depends what you have a better roll for. For the Flower, Broken Crown, Flavor Time, Nemesis Bracers is the way you want to go. Everything else is just nice to have, but not absolutely necessary. For the purpose of this demonstration, because this armor is one of the lower tier armors on the tier list, we are going to be doing just a Greater Rift 60, as well as a Greater Rift 70. That way you can see how the armor performs on the lower tier levels. Once you go past level 70, the effectiveness of the armor kind of drops off significantly. And keep in mind that the only attack we're going to be using here is the sweep attack. We won't be using shield bash, so this is focused mostly on sweep attack. So what we want to do is we want to activate our Akarat's Champion. Then we are going to pop our Laws of Valor, as well as our defensive skills. And then we just basically are going to sweep attack into targets. In order to help with this, we're going to be using a Bane of the Stricken, as well as a Bane of the Tramp. When we continue to sweep enemies, we will do increased amount of damage and stack. Every once in a while, you're going to use your Steed Charge to just drag enemies towards you. Remember, when you use your Steed Charge ability, you're increasing your attack stat for a certain amount of seconds, which is then why sweep attack gets a bit of a buff there. Now, it's a very basic. We could use Shield Bash here. People have asked me previously, because of builds, why aren't we using Shield Bash? The reason for that in particular is due to the fact that Shield Bash is kind of a slow bit of an attack, and all you really need to work this armor effectively is focusing primarily on the sweep attack. So that is why we do that. Now, in terms of optimization, what would you particularly want to do with this armor? Well, first and foremost, since we are using Captain Crimson, it is in our benefit to use cooldown, or have cooldown reduction, I should say, 8.0% wherever possible on your gear. We also want resource cost reduction, 8.0% or higher wherever possible on our gear. The more cooldown reduction we have, thanks to Captain Crimson, means the more attack damage that we'll be able to deal. The more resource cost reduction that we have means the less damage that we will take. So you want to prioritize those two things first, because we're using Captain Crimson. From there, my recommendation is for the helm, I would recommend crit hit chance 6.0%. I would recommend on the gloves crit hit chance 6.0%, crit hit damage 50%, and an attack speed at least 8.0%. Those free stats on your gloves will guarantee that you'll be able to climb Greater Rift maybe 10 or 15 levels higher than what you would normally be able to perform and do at. Now, Fervor Optimization, obviously, because the only attack stat on this armor is our sweep attack. You want to get 15% sweep attack wherever possible to increase the amount of damage that is dealt. Obviously, since the Crusader uses strength, you want to maximize the max roll of strength on all pieces of your gear as well. That way it can perform significantly well. Fervor Optimization, obviously you are going to want to get pieces of your gear, either Ancient Legendary, that's the gold border, or Primal Ancient Legendary, which is the red border. Primal Ancient Legendaries only drop if you've completed a Greater Rift with a seasonal character that is Greater Rift level 70 or higher solo. That's how you have access to that. If you're playing a non-seasonal character, however, you want to complete a Greater Rift 70 solo with any non-seasonal character, and all the other seasonal characters will in fact have access to a Primal Ancient Legendary. From there, what you want to do is either with the Ancient Legendary or Primal Ancient Legendary, put it into the Kanai's Cube, or you will augment it with a Legendary Gem. My recommendation usually is a Legendary Gem that is 80 in value or higher, preferably 130 is the best. For the Rift Guardian that you see there, all we're going to do is pretty much make sure we have Akarat's Champion, Laws of Valor, and then start sweeping the sweep attack, because of being stricken, most of the lower Greater Rift Guardians, we're talking Tournament 13 and under, are going to pop with this armor significantly well. So, like I was saying, you want to augment your armor with Legendary Gems that are at least between level 80 to 130 in value. Do not get scared away if maybe you feel like the armor is underperforming and you need to augment with a level 80 gem. You can always go back and overwrite a Legendary Gem augmentation with another gem. Obviously, you're going to waste a little bit of resources, but if that gets you to climb higher Greater Rifts, definitely do that. In terms of clear time here, we got Greater Rift 60, Tournament 13 difficulty, 3 minutes and 6-second clear time. This is why you don't necessarily need the Shield Bash for this build, because you're trying to go for the fast and most effective way to work with this particular armor. Then from there, what we're going to do here is we have a Greater Rift 70, same strategy as before. You want to go Akarat's Champion, Laws of Valor, and then from there, what you definitely want to do is just continue to use your sweep attack. In terms of Legendary Gems that you should be using for this build, my recommendation is a Bane of the Stricken, Bane of the Trap, and the last one can be most likely a Goak of Swiftness. That way you'll always have a fast cooldown, not only on your Vacuum, but as well as your Akarat's Champion, which is kind of important because you need the Akarat's Champion to get a little bit of increased defensiveness as well as increased damage. Now, this is not the Season 26 starter set for the Crusader. Instead, that is the Armor of Akan, which we have covered currently in our playlist already. Bombardment Crusader Akan build. That's the way you want to go with your Crusader for this season if you are playing Diablo III season. Roland's Legacy, for all intents and purposes, is the bottom tier of the Crusader. It is not going to do very well in terms of Echoing Nightmare, the endgame feature that's in Season 26, but is going to extend to future seasons as well. It's a permanent endgame edition that was announced recently by Blizzard. What's going to happen there is pretty much with Echoing Nightmares, this armor is going to incredibly underperform. The reason for that is this armor requires being up close and personal with enemy targets, and because it is up close and personal, it is more susceptible to being killed via AoE effects, that being explosions, ice hydras, acid pulls, lasers, all those things of the sort. So my recommendation would be try to avoid using Roland's Legacy for Echoing Nightmares, as it's just not going to be able to perform well. You're probably going to be able to get probably to about a wave 60-70 with it before you start to see mobs overwhelming you and too many explosions that you may not be able to dodge out of with the Steed Charge. Keep in mind the Steed Charge ability that we're using drags enemies towards you, so that then we can use our sweep attack, which is not a very viable strategy when you're going Echoing Nightmare, because we're pulling things in and causing more explosions to go off. So it's not viable. If anything, it would probably be somewhere in the bottom tier, F tier, maybe D tier if you want to say, in terms of set armors and everything of the sort. Now, if you're looking to do S tier play with the Crusader in Echoing Nightmares and through Season 26, my recommendation is either you go Bombardment Crusader with the Armor of Akan, or you focus on the Valor Satyr build, aka Aegis of Valor set armor, with the Fist of the Heavens, Heaven's Fury, where you can zone enemies from far away. Both of those videos are available in the playlist. Now, like I've mentioned before on the channel, I recently started doing Twitch streams as well. We are an affiliate now on Twitch. We do not always play Diablo III there. Sometimes we play a wide variety of other games like Dead by Daylight, stuff that we can't necessarily fit on particularly here our main channel. But if you are a fan of Diablo 3 or Diablo 2, definitely make sure to give us a follow on Twitch as well, because from time to time we will actually do grinding for our guides that are upcoming for future YouTube videos there, as well as play out seasonal thing, and sometimes there also as well play with our viewers. So that Twitch channel is twitch.tv/Dreadscape Gaming. Make sure to drop us a follow. We do tend to stream on a daily basis. Again, it is not always Diablo 3. Sometimes it is other games as well, because we like to play a wide variety of games on our Twitch stream. Now, in terms of this armor, again, like I said, this is kind of mostly for funsies. This is the most effective way that you can potentially do this. Once you get up to greater rift 75 and even, let's say, a greater rift 80, you're going to have a significantly rougher time trying to get higher up in the greater rift, which is why this armor falls off. Fully optimized, you might be able to get this up to a greater rift 110, but from there, it's probably not worth it. For the rift growing, same strategy as before. Akarat's Champion, Papa Law, just keep sweep attacking. Bane and Stricken, Bane and Trap are going to go off Getter, which will eventually just pop the Rift Guardian with general ease. As you go higher up, it's going to be way more difficult, and you have to invest a lot of augmentation and optimization, which I think is better used for a more effective armor, at least for the Crusader class. Now, as I mentioned before, since we are getting very close to covering all armors in Season 26 of Diablo 3, our focus is on the bottom tier armors, and then from there, we are going to probably switch focus for a little bit till Diablo 2. So keep that in mind. Let's see what the clear time was there. 4 minutes and 11 second clear time, greater of 70. Obviously, 75 will probably be about 4 minutes and 40 seconds. Greater of 80, if we get squashed a couple bit, probably would be somewhere in the 5-minute range. That is going to do it for the Roland's Legacy Set Armor Guide. As always, a like on this video is greatly appreciated. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, definitely consider doing so, as it helps the channel grow. And I will see you for the next Diablo 3 video. And don't forget to follow us on Twitch as well.